Of making sure that we put order.
The contentious clause 41 of the HIV/AIDS Prevention and Control Bill that seeks to criminalize intentional transmission of HIV has this afternoon been adopted by Parliament. Though the House Committee on Health had recommended the deletion of the clause, a majority of lawmakers rejected the position of their colleagues.
It is going to capture anybody who is positive and he knows he's positive and he goes and he rapes a young child, or you start masquerading on a child in Makerere University or Nkumba University or Mbara University. These students which are being actually molested by old men.
The law is not unfairly targeting anybody, but rather it's addressing somebody who was tested for HIV and knows his or her status and out of malice intentionally wants to infect others.
Clause 171 of the Penal Code, which talks about negligent transmission or talks about transmitting disease or handling materials or negligently acting in a way that will cause transmission of any disease, can actually take care of this clause.
The adoption of this clause sent jitters across the Prince of Parliament, where human rights activists who are against the clause had camped for the last 3 days, hoping to win the hearts of MPs.
Today might be one that bad day in history. We definitely agree that the HIV Prevention and Management Bill has great provisions. Most of it was a great law. But do you know, like a wonderful plate of food with a bit of poison? The very 5 provisions that have just sailed through may be very, very problematic for the HIV response.
I know there are countries like Tanzania which we benchmarked, which has such a provision on criminalizing intentional transmission, and yet we know people being tested have actually become many over time. So what we have passed, we think is good for our national AIDS response.
The UNAIDS country director, Musa Mbugudu, who was in the VIP gallery, asked the president not to assent to the bill until he gets technical advice.
So I would urge that His Excellency, the President, because it's the next step now, for the President to have a look at it, to sign it. So if there could be any room, those experts that Uganda is proud of, the international community is proud of, if there could be another opportunity that they can have a look at this document and advise the President before he signs into law, it will be very good.
Herbalists who, under the pretext of healing those infected by HIV/AIDS, fleece their victims, face imprisonment of 5 years if found guilty. The bill will likely be passed on Tuesday next week. Agnes Nandutu, NTV, Parliament.